Hi, so I'm going to talk about my final project, which was the unit lesson plan. I chose to do the book The Immortal Rules by Julie Kagawa, and that is what I chose to do my midterm project on too. It's obviously my favorite book, I'm biased, but the overview of the lesson plan, or the unit plan, it's for English 3. I feel like juniors is probably the lowest grade level that I would go with this. And it would take about 7 to 8 weeks. Learning objectives. Students will be able to read a novel and complete complex activities related to the novel. Students will be able to demonstrate their knowledge over the main ideas, themes, characters, and plot through answering comprehension questions and completing a project-based assessment at the end of the unit. I'll just go through the quick unit outline. My lesson plan, my specific lesson plan, is over week 1. So depending on the schedule of the school, so if it's like block scheduling or regular like 7-hour scheduling, will really depend on how you break it up in terms of doing what which day. A lot of the reading will be completed in class because I feel like doing this, it's a heavy reading load, like it's a big book, and so giving students time in class to do that is probably the best option to actually get them to finish the book. Expecting them to read everything at home is just not realistic, even at the junior level. So, okay, moving on. Week 1, introduction to the unit study, and then they will read chapters 1 through 4, which is part 1 of the novel. So the introduction study will cover, they will be introduced to the novel and shown the book trailer, which is linked on the thing. It's pretty basic, it's nothing special, but it gives them a good basis of what the novel is going to be about. And then they'll receive all the working information documents, which is like their character analysis, their context clues, and stuff like that, which will be worked on later in the unit. Week 2 is their comprehension quiz 1, and then they'll read chapters 5 through 9, which is part 2 of the book. The comprehension questions, students will be given a formative assessment to gauge their comprehension of the text. They will be provided with study materials as well as an in-class review before the quiz. This is just to make sure that they're, not that they're doing the reading per se, but that they're grasping the information that they're getting, and that they're not just like aimlessly reading words, that kind of thing. This week they will also begin their plot map / story elements graphic organizer. They will access this document and begin filling in the known elements of the novel, like setting, characters, point of view, and any conflict that's already taken place. A more in-depth graphic organizer will be introduced later. That's where they'll be making conclusions as to different plot points. It'll include the introduction, rising action, climax, falling action, resolution. More in-depth like look at the novel as they get deeper into the story. Week 3, reflection journals update their working documents and read chapters 10 through 14, which is part 3 of the book. In the reflection journals, students will receive several writing prompts to respond to in the form of a reflection journal, obviously. They will reflect on their ability to comprehend the plot, relate to characters, and apply scenarios to the real world. And those scenarios have to do from the themes and the main ideas that are talked about, like in the comprehension questions and class discussion. The context clue work will begin. They'll receive a list of vocabulary words based on the novel. And students will have to locate each word within the novel at least once. Use the context clues to make a prediction as to what they think the words mean, and then go over the words and their actual meaning as a class. Students will use more context clues to support each word's definition as we get further into the novel, just to make that connection deeper. Week 4, comprehension quiz, reading chapters 15 through 17, which is also part 3. Comprehension quiz will be the same as before, just covering a different part of the section. This week, they will also be catching up and updating any working documents. So if they need to update their context clues, their character analysis, their what is it? Oh, plot map. Yes, sorry. Yes, that. Week 5, chapters 18 through 22, which is part 5. This is the week that I will introduce the unit project, which is the project-based assessment, and they will begin their outline of the project, so they'll make the project choice, kind of have a rough idea of what it's going to be about, what it's going to look like, that kind of thing, just so they can get feedback on it and continue to work through it. They'll receive the bingo sheet, which has all the projects on it, decide for their summative assessment, brainstorming, all that stuff. And also this week, as they're reading, they'll be updating their working documents, everything like that, which is expectation throughout everything. Week 6, comprehension quiz per usual, and then they will finish the novel, which is chapters 22 through 25, which is also part 5. Comprehension questions, comprehension quiz, all of that stuff per usual. This is the week that they will turn in their rough draft of the unit project. Week prior, so week 5 is when they will begin their brainstorming, getting feedback, conferences and stuff like that. So this is when they will turn in that actual rough draft, and it will have a solid chunk and outline of what their final draft is going to look like. Week 7, comprehension quiz, obviously, and this is the week that they will turn in their final draft of the unit project. The comprehension quiz will be a full novel quiz covering kind of whole novel main ideas, themes, conflict resolution, stuff like that, character development, all that encompassing stuff that goes on. And then obviously turning in their final unit project, they will have all week to conference and get feedback and everything before they have to turn it in. And for the summative assessment, their choices are a playwright project, so they will have to choose 2 specific scenes in the novel that they will have to write a play script for, including like stage directions, so they have to look at the way characters are interacting with each other, the tension, the tone, all of that stuff, which would really show their understanding of the novel and the way that it's written. 3D character project, they will have to make 3 of the characters like in a 3D model form and then give a short character analysis of those characters that they chose, whether or not they're static, dynamic, their development, all that good stuff. Character diary entry project, they will choose a character to identify as, and then write a series of 20 diary entries covering the span of the book, talking about key events, how they reacted to those events, stuff like that, things that they feel like the character would talk about or say the way they would talk based on what they read in the novel. Book review project, just a basic book review, good things, bad things, main ideas, themes, all of that stuff that we talked about the last 7 weeks, that would go in the book review. And then a theme study project, which is where they would choose 1 or 2 overall themes of the novel and kind of dissect that and pinpoint and pick out which sections of the novel really express that. So yeah, and then my final, or the specific lesson plan is about that introduction. They will go over the book, like the cover summary, watch the book trailer, all of that stuff, go over essential questions, and then talk about the different documents and everything that they will get. So pretty basic for the specific lesson plan, but in terms of whole unit project, the unit project, I said 7 weeks, but probably 8 weeks because of a buffer week if like there's, I don't know, something. It's always good to give yourself extra time. But yeah, that's about it.